and welcome to another walk around of Oldtimerfarm and yet another super exclusive car. And when I say super exclusive, this is like, wow, incredible, because this is the niche of the niche of the niche. Let me explain. Mercedes, the star. I think everybody that knows about cars knows about Mercedes, and Mercedes has a big history starting in the 20s, and they positioned themselves as a high-end car producer. In the 20s, this was the experimental phase of the modern automobile. They didn't know really what to do, but they positioned themselves in the high-end, expensive. All cars were expensive, but they were really expensive. And then they started with a series, and the goal was not to build expensive cars anymore. It was to build expensive cars and sell a lot. So there was a volume strategy. And here you have it, Mercedes 170. How did the clever Germans at the time think? And they succeeded to get a lot of sales, a lot of production. Well, they made different versions of the same car. So the chassis, axles, gearbox, engine is in pre-war 170, always the same. 38 horsepower, which by today's standard, of course, is not a lot, but for the time, it was good, it was enough. And there was no need, given the roads, no highways, there was no need for a faster engine, but there was a need for an exclusive model, something very sporty, very elegant, and of course, more expensive. I present to you one of 3 cars we have for sale at the moment in Oldtimerfarm in Aalter, 170 Roadster. And it's 170 V Roadster, and the V doesn't stand for volume, it stands for vorne. What does that mean? In the front. What is in the front? Well, the engine is in the front. There was also, it wasn't a big success, and even I, as a car enthusiast, had to look it up. There was also 170H, and what is H? Hinten. And hinten was in the rear, the engine was in the rear. What other car do we know that had the engine in the rear? And that was a huge success, and that was developed around that same period. Yes, you've guessed it, it was the VW Beetle, also known in Germany as the Käfer. Käfer had the engine in the rear until 1980 something. It had the engine in the rear. So Mercedes was not all that wrong, and that's how you can see that even at the time there was collaboration, they were working together, and there was also, I think, in my imagination then, especially around those times, industrial espionage. What are the others doing? How can we develop something new? And Mercedes had the 170H with the engine in the back, hinten. If you look at the pictures of that car, it looks very strangely similar to the Käfer. Anyway, we're not here to talk about the 170H, we're talking about the 170V, and not any V, not a sedan, not a 4-door, not a 2-seater cabriolet, not a 4-seater cabriolet, no, the Roadster. And the Roadster was really the playboy car. It was the car for wealthy, industrial people who were ahead of their time with their business and wanted a car to match that image. Look at the line. So the line starts here, and it's emphasized by this chrome ornament that continues and then goes down. Okay? You have chrome wire wheels. The separate lights are standard for the 170, as well as the radiator. But the front window with, I call this jokingly, an air conditioning function, so you can tilt it, and so you get all the wind in your face. The fact that there are no side windows makes it very sporty. It's a full bench with suicide doors. Of course, the use of leather and carpets was also luxury. The instruments, which are standard to the 170, were works of art. You could call this horlogerie, like they say in French. And then you had the mother-in-law seat. This is where you want to punish your mother-in-law, and she has to sit in the back. It's also used as a trunk. So, but when it's closed, look at this. You don't see anything. This is really, really elegant and inspired by the big models they had. The famous SSK, the famous 540K, all cars that were developed in that period and that were top of the world, the fastest, the biggest, the most expensive. And this car was a sort of little sister of those cars. A Roadster version, special version, with the spare wheel apparent. Spare wheel at that time, don't forget, this wasn't luxury. This was necessary because who else was using the roads? Very simple, horses. And horses have shoes, and those shoes are attached to the legs or to the feet of the horse with nails. And if you get a nail in the tire, well, everybody knows what happens. So a very, very elegant car with a roof that is hidden behind the seat. It's a little bit blocked there. Let's see what happens. Voila. The roof comes out in a sort of semi-automatic system, and you have to fold it in place, and even then, a very elegant cabriolet. So under the hood, we have a 4-cylinder. Here we go. Voila. 4-cylinder engine with 1700 cc, 1.7, hence the name of the car. It's a lateral engine, so 38 horsepower, 4 gears. 4 gears are also an innovation for that time. The big American cars had 3 gears. So a very sporty, elegant, 2-seater, 2+2 cabriolet, made in a period when Germany was industrially on top of the world, and the politicians at that time thought that they could conquer the world, and everybody knows what happened after that. But still, this is the basis of the modern industrial car business. This was the first series in Mercedes terms that they really had a commercial success. It was a good car, everybody loved it, it had a really good reputation, and this is the most exclusive version. Even today, even though it's a little bit less expensive than it used to be in the 70s and the 80s, today it's still a very expensive car. And if we talk about this particular car, well, it's in concours condition. It's brilliant. Whether you look at the paint, the bright work, the engine bay, the finish is just, in my words, better than when it was new. Why? Because the paint, the chrome work, the wiring, everything is a little bit better. Of course, it's all original, but it was restored and with materials of the 20th and the 21st century. So we have everything new. No modifications. So original brake system, hydraulic brakes, which is really innovative. You still had the tank with the engine, which was a little bit dangerous because obviously you had a very big fire risk, and everything was condensed in the front. Here you have tools, the typical indicators of that time, the typical way of opening and closing the bonnet, where you have to be careful not to hit the lights. Voila. So this is a concourse restoration, and the color is red with a touch of salmon. We have two others. One is in tints of blue, and the other one is black and beige. The red car has something special. So, whether you're looking for a pre-war car to do events, and you want to have one of the most special examples available, whether you're looking to complete your Mercedes collection, or whether you're looking to have just something that reflects that era, here it is. Mercedes 170 Roadster in concourse condition. Don't hesitate to call, send me an email, anything you like, and we'll make it happen. We of course can ship this car worldwide. Thank you.